Hello, star people. Welcome back to EarthSky. I'm Deborah Byrd on the blue moon and micromoon of May 30th and 31st. Most blue moons aren't really blue, but this micromoon is the smallest and dimmest full moon of 2026. But before we talk about that, NASA just announced some updates to its plans to put humans back on the moon by 2028. Check out this video about a series of 4 rocket-powered drones to be sent to the lunar South Pole also in 2028. Isn't that exciting? That's some new NASA tech for you. Between now and 2028, there's a Blue Origin mission that'll land on the moon carrying payloads needed to build a sustainable lunar base. And there's a whole lot more. We have an article on the moon base at our website at earthsky.org. That link is in the post notes. But you clicked in to hear about the blue moon. And just know that as you gaze at the moon in the coming evenings, we are going there. Okay, I'll try to calm myself down. Blue moons. It's just a name, but the name has a fascinating history. And there are also blue colored moons, which we'll talk about, so stay with us. The May 30th and 31st blue moon carries the name blue because we had the full flower moon on May 1st. So the full moon at the end of May is the second full moon of a calendar month. This full moon will crest at 8:45 UTC on May 31st. That's 3:45 a.m. Central Daylight Time here in Texas. So that's the morning of the 31st for us. And that means if you live anywhere in the Americas, Europe, or Africa, the moon is fullest for you during the night of May 30th. But if you're west of the international dateline, as our community member JV Noriega in the Philippines is, or if you're watching from Australia, New Zealand, or anywhere in China, your fullest moon comes on the night of May 31st. And honestly, every full moon looks full for several nights. So don't worry too much about the date. The blue moon will look full, round, and beautiful on both May 30th and 31st. And also look near the moon starting around May 28th and 29th. You'll see a bright red star and Terries, especially around May 30th and then again on May 31st. Antares is the heart of the scorpion and the constellation Scorpius. And it's very easy to spot within the scorpion pattern. Antares is an enormous red supergiant. It's 550 light years away. 75 million of our suns could fit inside it. It's so big that its outer layers would extend beyond Mars. And like all supergiant stars, Antares will someday explode. But there's more. In a dark sky, when the moon has moved away, you can see a distant and ancient star cluster right next to Antares. It's called M4. So that's Antares, the star right next to this May 30th and 31st full moon. You can see it no matter where on Earth you live. And speaking of perspectives, EarthSky's Dan Gaussen is up next. He's a night sky tour guide at Stargaze Mackenzie in Twizel, New Zealand. And he's here to give us his perspective from the Southern Hemisphere on the blue moon.
The same blue moon as you guys. So we get this question a lot down here in the Southern Hemisphere, especially from people from the north. They say, are we going to see the same thing? And the answer is absolutely yes, we are going to see the same thing, because what it comes down to is the position of the moon, really, not the position of you or me, because we're basically all in the same position. We're all on a ball spinning in space, but we just have slightly different perspectives. But the moon orbits the Earth. It orbits the Earth in 28 days approximately, and so you can imagine that to be very slow, almost static, and the Earth itself is rotating very quickly, and so everybody is going to be rotating around and seeing the moon in the same position, and so we're all going to see the same full moon on the 31st of May.
So as Dan said, we're all on a ball spinning in space, and we all see the same moon and the same moon phases. But Dan reminded me of one difference between the northern and southern hemispheres' perspective on the moon, and that is, relative to each other, they look upside down.
Yeah, that's right. And the same for the whole sky. The whole sky appears to be upside down. All the constellations we see, the planets that we see, and indeed the moon, they all appear upside down because we're simply just looking from a different perspective. But yeah, so the very familiar patterns that people may be familiar with in the northern hemisphere, like the man on the moon, the pattern that looks like the man's face, is totally flipped over. So in New Zealand, we often refer to it as the rabbit, the bunny rabbit on the moon, because it looks like we got the little ears and sticking up on the body. So yeah, we don't have the man, we have the rabbit. But yes, you're right, it looks totally flipped around. And me being from England, it's, when I fly down, it's really interesting to see. You can literally sometimes see the moon gradually as you head further and further south, rotating, which is very hard to get your head around. But indeed, it's amazing to see.
Yes, that was a new EarthSky team member, Dan Gaussen. He's working with us to boost our Southern Hemisphere perspective, both here and at our website, earthsky.org. And here's something else that I especially love about this month's full moon. As I mentioned, it's a micromoon, or moon near apogee, which is the point in the moon's orbit most distant from Earth. So this month's full moon is slightly smaller than average. You probably won't notice any difference in the moon's size with your eye, but as you can see here, photographs reveal it easily. So what can you notice about this full moon? You might notice that it's a little less bright, a little less dramatic. And if you're a really experienced observer or astrophotographer, you might perceive it as a little smaller in apparent size than a supermoon. And again, for those who joined me late, the May 30th and 31st full moon is the most distant full moon for all of 2026. But let's go back to blue moons. And this is where the story gets really interesting. There are two different ways to define a blue moon, and both of those definitions come from folklore. The second full moon in a month definition isn't the original. In the early 20th century, a blue moon meant the third of 4 full moons in a single season. Normally, a season has 3 full moons, but every so often, the lunar cycle squeezes in a fourth. And weirdly enough, it wasn't the 4th moon in that older tradition that was considered the blue moon. Instead, it was the 3rd of those 4 seasonal full moons. So go figure. But even today, many still call the 3rd of 4 full moons in a season a blue moon. But meanwhile, most of us know that most of us know blue moons as the second full moon in a month. And there's a story about how this definition came to be also, which you can read about at earthsky.org. We know it's a true story because we played a part in it. It's a story about language, tradition, storytelling itself, and human culture. You'll find a link in the post notes. But now, can the moon ever look blue? The answer is yes, but it happens only rarely, usually after major volcanic eruptions or widespread wildfires, where tiny particles in Earth's atmosphere scatter red light in unusual ways. People reported genuinely blue-looking moons after Krakatoa erupted in 1883 and after Mount St. Helens erupted in 1980. But the blue moon of 2026, almost certainly not blue, except in name. So I want to stop for a minute because we're getting some questions. Let me pop one up there. About the moon, going to the moon, I believe they want to start mining for aluminum on the moon. And yes, that question comes from Nevitz Forever 4. Yes, there are resources on the moon. Like all of the lights we see in the night sky are, well, most of them are stars, of course, but the planets are. Well, let me rewind this. Many, but not all, of the lights we see in the night sky are worlds that are much like Earth. Some of them are much like Earth. They're not all like Earth, but many of them are rocky worlds like Earth, and we can go there to get resources. So when I was young, those many years ago, we had big visions. It was right around the 1960s when we were going to the moon, and we really thought that by the time that I was going to be this age, that we would be on the moon and exploring the solar system and gathering the resources and doing all that good stuff. But that did not happen. So I only wish I was you guys' age so that I could see what does happen, because it's going to be really great when we start going out into the solar system. So thank you for that question. Can anybody explain to me the strawberry harvest, blue, wolf, and red moon? Yeah, so some of these are names. The strawberry moon, the wolf moon, both of those are just monthly names of the moon. I think the wolf moon is January, and the strawberry moon, I bet that's maybe June or something. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at a list. The harvest moon's a little different. It's the name for the moon closest to the September equinox. Blue moon, second full moon of a month. So all of these names just come out of folklore. And Dan, actually, in the Southern Hemisphere, told me that there's not a big tradition of names for moons in the Southern Hemisphere. So they tend to use the same names that we do. So, for example, the flower moon, which was the first full moon of May, they also called it the flower moon, even though it's autumn in the Southern Hemisphere now. So the Southern Hemisphere is using our moon names. And are we ready for the total solar eclipse of 2026? Yes, many on the EarthSky team and also in the EarthSky community are going to this solar eclipse. It happens in August. We are really looking forward to it. We've got some videos up about it already, but we'll definitely be talking about it more as summer comes. So thank you, Matthew. I hope you are going. Oh, there's one more. We know the tides are there higher on full moon days. Do the water inside the trees? Oh, gee, I don't know anything about trees. Sorry, I'm not so good on earthly stuff. You'd have to ask a biologist that question, but that's an interesting question. There's things about the pull of the moon that we don't exactly understand. There's lots more to learn. So thank you for that question. Okay, guys, the blue moon, going back to the moon, all so exciting. This blue moon is the second full moon of a month. It's the farthest, faintest, and smallest full moon of 2026. We still love the sound of the words once in a blue moon, even though we know it's not all that rare anymore. But it sounds rare, and it sounds mysterious and magical. So even when the moon, it sounds that way even when the moon itself is just shining away, doing what it always does for all of us on Earth. So thank you for sticking around to the end. And don't forget to look west after sunset for the sky's two brightest planets, Venus and Jupiter. They're getting closer. They'll be closest around June 8th and 9th. And wherever you are on Earth, I hope you'll step outside on May 30th and 31st and take a look at the moon. And remember, one Earth, one sky, EarthSky.